Welcome to the Barker Podcast Collection.
Hey, yeah, I wanna shoot, baby.
Kind of lonesome back here.
Little help here.
Oh. Excuse me.
Woo!
Dopinder.
Pool. Dead.
Why the fancy red suit, Mr. Poole?
Oh, that's because it's Christmas Day, Dopinder, and I'm after someone on my naughty list. You're probably thinking, this was a superhero movie, but that guy in the suit just turned that other guy into a fucking kebab. Surprise! This is a different kind of superhero story. To tell it right, we gotta take you back before I squeeze this ass into spandex.
Mr. Wilson, you've recently been diagnosed with terminal cancer.
We can fight this.
What if I told you we can cure you and give you abilities most men only dream of?
I'd say that you sound like an infomercial, but not a good one, like Slap Chop, more shake weighty. If I never see you again, know that I love you.
When I'm finished, your mutated cells will heal anything. But you still think we're making you a superhero. We're making you a super slave. Oh, come on.
You gonna leave me all alone here with Jose Canseco? Whatever they did to me made me totally indestructible and completely
No.
unfuckable.
You look like the inside of other people's assholes.
I didn't ask to be super, and I'm no hero. But when you find out your worst enemy is after your best girl, the time has come to be a fucking superhero. Right up Main Street.
Hear the music.
X gon' give it to you. Fuck, wait for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you.
We can't allow this, Deadpool.
I don't have time for your X-Men bullshit, Colossus.
Besides, nobody's getting hurt.
That guy was up there before we got here.
Knock, knock, open up.
I've played a lot of roles. Damsel in distress ain't one of them.
You gonna rock.
Time to make the chimmy fucking chongas.
Rock, don't let it go.
Have you seen this man?
I never say this, but don't swallow. Shit. Did I leave the stove on?
X gon' give it to you.
Yeah, you're way too much dude for me. That's why I brought him.
I mean, that's why I brought her?
Oh, no, finish your tweet.
That's fine. Just give us a second.
Go get her, Tiger.
Oh, I so pity the dude who pressures her into prom sex.
X gon' give it to you.
Welcome to the Not Watching Podcast. My name's Rob Howard, and this week I'm joined by
John Marson.
And Marcus Hurley.
You can contact us on email at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. Yeah, so we saw Deadpool the other week, last week in fact, and we laughed a lot.
Yeah.
I certainly did. Some of it really got to me, like some of the humour in it. But yeah, I suppose we better open it with like what Deadpool is. Do you want to give that a go, Marcus? You've read a bit of it, haven't you?
Basically, blend Spider-Man with Wolverine with guns and swords. So the smart mouth of Spider-Man, but a bit more M-rated.
Yeah, just a bit.
And I don't know. He's a Merc with a mouth. It's like really scummy, almost like a bad guy, but he isn't a bad guy because you love him.
He's a bad guy, but he's not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, you're in his head, aren't you? He breaks the fourth wall and stuff, so it's constantly referring to stuff.
I like how he's supposed to have schizophrenia as well. So he's supposed to have.
Oh, really?
He's supposed to. I think in the comics he's got 2 or 3 or maybe even 4 versions of him talking to himself, and then he often tells them to shut up. So it's like when he loses a limb or something, it'll be talking to him because it's like taking on the persona of one of his. So it's like he'll cut his arm off and it'll give him the finger and start telling him to come over here and get it back. It's just like, I'm so glad they didn't put that into the film because A, it would have offended schizophrenics everywhere, and B, it would have just made it even more insane. I don't think we could have coped.
Well, he's a bit camp, isn't he? He's got like a kind of obsession with unicorns, He hallucinates
He's fucked up.
little
He
ponies
is so
and
fucked
things.
up. I mean, that's what made him one of the most popular Marvel heroes ever, because he is just wrecked.
Yeah, he's definitely comfortable with his feminine side, which is quite refreshing in a superhero, really, isn't it, I suppose?
Yeah.
Especially on Women's Liberation Day.
Oh,
Whatever
God.
it was.
National Women's Day, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That was so funny, the way they threw that in there.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's quite unconventional for a superhero film. I mean, he's not really a superhero for a start, although he is loosely affiliated with the X-Men, and we do have a couple of X-Men, only a couple, of course, due to budgetary constraints.
Which are pointed out
in the film.
As is pointed out, yeah. But, yeah.
I love that line. He goes, "Hey, such a big house. And then how come we only see two of you?" And just as he's walking off, it's almost as if the studio can only afford a couple of you.
Yeah. No, it's really funny movie. I had a laugh. There was an episode involving what is it, like a ice plow thing?
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, some Beano, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just couldn't help it. I just lost it. But
it's fantastic.
Yeah,
Negasonic Teenage Warhead. She was a cool little character.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. And also I liked how they chose Colossus, isn't it? Because he's like the most like paladin, like straight
arrow
Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it really he really works off of Deadpool and stuff. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I think it was a big surprise how well it's done. Because it broke loads of records. It was like the I think it's like the biggest opener for a debut X-Men, or for Fox certainly. It's done well over 200 million at the box office now.
We need to see where they go with this whole R-rated superhero thing, though.
I think they're going to try cashing in on it quite cynically. They're going to think, maybe it did well because it's R-rated, but then
next Wolverine film.
Yeah, but they're kind of negating the fact that it did really well because they actually made a film that was as close to the comics as you could get, and there are enough people in the world that would pay money to go see that. Because as good as the X-Men films are, imagine if they got it spot on.
Yeah.
You know?
And also, like, imagine, if you saw Wolverine's claws, like, what they actually would do to a
slashing
human.
Someone apart, yeah. Because I think I read before they did Wolverine Origins, it was going to be R-rated, or 15, possibly an 18, because they were going to do parts of him growing up and how he got mixed with the whole, they did the whole Alpha Flight, I think, or X-Force or whatever it was, the group he was in Canada.
Yeah.
And it was going to show all the missions, and it was going to be all that sort of stuff, as well as bits where he got dropped into like Afghanistan and all that, and and what he did basically during the war. It was going to show all of that sort of stuff. And the only way you can do, well, he said it himself, he's the best at what he does, and what he does is not very nice. That's how he describes himself.
Yeah.
I listened to Ryan Reynolds on the Empire podcast, and he mentioned about they were saying how far are you going to take it, because they'd greenlit a sequel because it was tracking really well, and if you stay to the end of the credits, they even outright tell you what's going to be in the sequel. But they said that they will take it as far all the way to the X-Force if people keep coming along and watching these movies. So, but yeah, James Gunn, he was one who was quick to point out like that he hopes Hollywood don't get the wrong end of the stick with this, just because it's an R-rated movie that's done well. He hopes that Hollywood don't start greenlighting loads of films like Deadpool, because you've got to be careful with this stuff. I guess the closest thing we've had before was like Kick-Ass, but that it was reined in. I think they knew what they were doing, and they were only doing it to serve the material and not just for the hell of it, just because they were trying to make an R-rated movie, you know. So, yeah, James Gunn said, so over the next few months, if you pay attention to the trades, you'll see Hollywood misunderstanding the lesson they should be learning with Deadpool. They'll be greenlighting films like Deadpool, but by that, they won't mean good and original, but a raunchy superhero film, or it breaks the fourth wall. They'll treat you like you're stupid, which is one thing Deadpool didn't do.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
But he wrote a big old essay over on his Facebook thing.
No, that's fair enough.
Saying, yeah, James Gunn, of course, being the director of Guardians of the Galaxy. So, he knows. He understands.
I do love the bit where he's interrogating the guy by the car, and he goes, "You might want to look away," and he actually talks to us and moves the camera. Actually just moves the camera away, and I was like, yes, this is what we wanted. An instance of actual fourth wall breaking, you know. I was curious whether there was going to be a scene in which he stepped out of the reel of film or something, or it broke, but I thought a lot of people have done that before.
He does a fourth wall break inside a fourth wall break at one point, doesn't he?
Yeah, and he calls it
like
16
walls. Deadpool's made 287 million in the States. That's just in the States, so I don't know what it is worldwide. Before that, the highest grossing R-rated comic book adaptation was 300, which did 210. So it's absolutely slaughtered that.
Kicked it down well.
Yeah. One thing that did make me quite curious was its kind of mild inclusion of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Captain America universe. With the helicarrier, which you didn't really notice was a helicarrier until I noticed one in the engines. I just thought it was like a decommissioned dry dock, which it was. But then you realise it's a S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, and you see just enough of it, so you can kind of figure out what it is. And then when it starts listing, the other engine on the other side falls off. You're like, shit.
Yeah, I remember you.
At the end, he's like, "Oh, what were you expecting, Sam Jackson in an eye patch?"
Yeah, and a fetching leather number.
Yeah, I was half expecting the door to open and he'd be on the loo or something.
But that would have been fun.
But then I realised, they can't because it's not proper Marvel, is it? It's Fox.
I did love that Ferris Bueller reference, though.
Oh yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. We're going to get more Deadpool, definitely. Anyone got any other thoughts?
Like the soundtrack.
Oh yeah.
It was good.
Yeah, it's probably the best superhero soundtrack since probably Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
It was cool.
Awesome. So I hope you've enjoyed this especially serious Not Watching podcast in partnership with notlistening.co.uk, where you can also hear myself and Ian talk about video games and virtual reality on the Not Playing podcast, and Adam, Ash and Will talk about all manner of much less serious things on the Not Listening podcast. You can email us at notwatchingpodcast@gmail.com, or you can tweet at or follow us on Twitter at notwatchingpod. You can find the show notes for this show at notlistening.co.uk, and if you're listening to us on iTunes, then please do give us a review. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for listening. See ya!
Bye.